linked to an explicit strategic path that starts in the here and now. We believe that the ability to develop and then actualize such a vision is a critical, perhaps the critical executive skill, though it is sorely neglected in traditional management doctrine. When he was a young man, Apple's Steve Jobs experimented with LSD and lived in an ashram in India. We're not going to tell you that we have a formula that will allow you to do all the things that he did, at the beginning in that fabled garage in Los Altos, and years later when he transformed Apple into the giant enterprise that it is today. But we can tell you that you don't have to take mind-altering drugs to become more visionary. Developing and deploying an inspiring and actionable vision is a skill that can be learned. Beyond that, it can be driven into the cultures of even the most hidebound organizations, reigniting their entrepreneurial fires and infusing them with a renewed sense of purpose and direction. Why vision? Schumpeter's gales of creative destruction are blowing as hard as they ever have. In a world that is shifting so rapidly that the next 10 years could witness as much change as the last century, the potential for disruption is high. Meanwhile, a troubling trend is emerging. In 2019, Innosight conducted a survey of executives across a wide variety of industries around the world. Fully 75% reported that their planning and forecasting horizons are never more than 5 years out. Only 10% plan for 8 to 10 years or more. If you are only thinking 2 or 3 years ahead, years 5 to 10 might bring you an unwelcome surprise that you haven't planned for. You could be blindsided by an aggressive challenge from an upstart competitor, putting a ceiling on your growth. A new technology could render your flagship product irrelevant. Worse yet, you might miss a breakthrough opportunity if you don't seize it early on. Most leaders understand this, but the pull of the present prevents them from really engaging with the future. Innosight, the strategy and innovation management consultancy that Mark co-founded with Harvard Business School's Clay Christensen, and where Josh is a partner, began with the goal of helping clients harness the theory of disruption that Clay developed and popularized in his seminal book, The Innovator's Dilemma. Disruption theory, in a nutshell, proposes that the more successful a company becomes, the more likely it is to fall victim to a new competitor that operates in a new and different way. In our early days, we worked with innovation and leadership teams at consumer product giants like Procter & Gamble, leading medical device and pharmaceutical firms such as Johnson & Johnson, great military contractors like Lockheed Martin, and government agencies such as Singapore's Economic Development Board, to help them gain a better understanding of the disruptions that were threatening them from below and the disruptive innovations they could develop to save themselves. Threats, we showed them, can be turned into opportunities. But while the teams we worked with had no shortage of good ideas, too many of the initiatives they launched failed to achieve escape velocity and mature into the transformative ventures that they might have become. In some cases, senior management refused to supply them with adequate funding as they launched, or to protect them from their internal rivals as they incubated and scaled. Some looked like they were on a path to success, but then fizzled. At the root of the problem were the processes by which senior management developed its strategic choices and priorities, which were overdetermined by their existing ways of doing things. As Wendell Weeks, the CEO of Corning, puts it, "It's way easier to hold on to a hill when you're at the top of it than it is to take a hill." Why is that? In part, it's because of what we call the present forward fallacy, the seductive notion that an existing business can be extended out in time indefinitely by continuously making improvements to it. Those core improvements, whether incremental or radical, are sustaining innovations, and they are entirely necessary to keep an organization on track. Every business leader needs to excel in this area, and many do, but such improvements are not sufficient to ensure top-line growth and sustainability over time. The systematic pursuit of long-term, breakthrough growth is needed as well. Leaders who think about the future, but then focus exclusively on sustaining or efficiency improvements, may believe they have a long-term vision and strategy, but often what they have is a glorified operating plan that perpetuates their assumptions about how their markets work today. Even when leaders do understand the evolving dynamics of the future and want to change course to embrace them, they often mismanage their responses because they overestimate the riskiness of investments beyond the core. As we'll show, those risks can be managed, and the risk of not doing something may be much higher. Senior leaders' calendars are filled with